Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Shovel Knight. This is the new game from Yacht Club Games. It is available as of right now on PC, Mac, and Linux through Steam, as well as Wii U and 3DS. I will be linking to the Steam version in the description below. It is $15, and I definitely recommend that you go check that out. As you can see, I've put in about 2 hours total between my two saves. Basically, I'm not going to cover anything in the story in this video, but if you navigate back to the channel, I also have a Let's Play starting today on this game, which will cover more of the story, things like that. This is just going to be a video of my kind of thoughts on the game. So, as you can see, as you can see, it is retro-inspired. Got a little tripped up on words there, but yeah, as you can see, Shovel Knight is kind of a retro-inspired action platformer where we literally play a Shovel Knight. And by that means, of course, that we are using our shovel to do all of our attacking, as well as, some digging in the meantime. So, basically what's going on in this game is that, there is a nice little backstory about Shovel Knight and Shield Knight, and we are trying to kind of figure out what is going on with all of that. It kind of starts off with, like, the death of Shield Knight, and then there's an evil enchantress that sort of takes over everything, and that is what we are trying to do to kind of avenge Shield Knight's death. But in the meantime, we are going to be collecting a ton of gold. We're going to be fighting some dragons, as you can see. We're going to be bouncing on shovels, bouncing on bubbles, all kinds of stuff. And that is really kind of the whole game. We are going to see a little bit of the town later, but this is definitely a game that wears its influences on its sleeve, and that's definitely not a bad thing. There are very kind of obvious inspirations from things like Zelda, that we will see in a little bit. All kinds of stuff, really. And I really do like this first level a lot. It shows off kind of basically every aspect of the game in a nice, neat format. So, here we're learning that there are going to be walls that we can break through. It's funny, no matter how many times I do that, and it's been about 4 times now, I get hit by those slimes. But, as you can see here, we do get to see a little bit of a secret. These are kind of an extra thing that you can find. These are kind of sheet music, which unlock songs. You can sell them to the bard in town, and he will give you money for that, basically, as well as the ability to play the songs. There's a treasure that I did not notice before, and I think that I may be able to fish here. I'm not sure. I think sometimes there are like treasures that you can get in these sparkly spots. Okay. Oh, you know what? I bet I have to like try and reel in as soon as Yeah, look what I got. Wait, stay thy forked knight. I bring gifts from the Troople King. Oh, but you can't carry anymore. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can see up there that in kind of Zelda fashion, we have different magics that we can use. We also have different potions that we can use, as well as gear, but we won't be getting to upgrade any gear in this video. That doesn't happen until maybe like an hour and 10 minutes or so into the game, in my experience. So for now, we just get kind of the basic gear, but we will be able to upgrade things later on. And basically what you're seeing is kind of all of the ingredients to the game. There isn't, as far as I know, there aren't like more moves that you can unlock or anything. It's pretty much what you see is what you get here, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. What does change is that the game gets much harder as we move on, as well as, secrets get more and more kind of hidden and difficult to actually find. I can't really speak to the whole length of the game. I think kind of based on how many sheets of music I have, I'm probably maybe like a fifth of the way through the game, or a fourth maybe, so you know, you could expect, I guess, to get maybe 8 or 10 hours out of this, which for an action platformer is, I suppose, about what you would expect anyways, so excuse me. So yeah, I would say that's probably a pretty good estimate, but again, I have not finished the game, so I can't totally speak to that. This kind of move, this, I guess kind of like Link-inspired move where we can actually like bounce down on top of things, becomes very important not only for stuff like this, but also for a lot of combat reasons. We'll be using that. And other than that, we can slash forward, and that is, that's pretty much it for our move set. And honestly, that's pretty much it for the gameplay here. We're gonna show off another boss. I will explain the checkpoints at the next one that we see. But, other than that, there isn't very much else going on until we get to town. So, as you can see here, there are treasure chests. And it turns out that you can just like farm for gold, which is actually what I'm doing now, because I've finished this level, but it's still letting me go through and get gold. So these are our checkpoints. If we die, it works kind of like a bonfire in Dark Souls. So if we die, we're going to drop a bunch of our gold, and then our attempt is going to be made to try and get that gold back before dying again. Otherwise, we lose it for good. But we can also break this, and this might be a bad idea. Maybe sometimes you can't break them. Okay. Excuse me. Some of them you can break as kind of an extra challenge, but it drops a ton of gold, so there is like an incentive to breaking it. So that is kind of an extra challenge you can give yourself sometimes. But yeah, I think at this point it's probably worth kind of calling the gameplay discussion good here. Some of the plays, oh, that was really bad. Yep, so there we go. So I gotta go collect that gold now. That was a silly way to die, too. Yeah, I think like one of the most impressive parts of this game actually is the visual aspect to it. Everything just looks absolutely beautiful. You can definitely tell, you know, very retro inspired. We've got this nice kind of pixel art look to everything, but it is, you know, it just looks really, really nice. I don't think there's really anything that I would change about the looks, or really anything bad that I could say about the looks. It all looks absolutely gorgeous all the way through. We will get to see, maybe not in this video, but if you check out the Let's Play, there are definitely some other varied environments, which is also really nice to see. All of the environments I've seen so far have looked really, really good. Okay, so we got to be kind of careful there if we want to be able to get that. And then from there, pretty much just break our way down, kill these slimes, and get these guys. Yeah, I think you know, the looks are definitely probably one of the strongest points of the game, and there's not really like a weak point, I would say. You know, the gameplay is perfectly fine, I think, from the gameplay perspective of it. It's really fun. It's pretty addicting, I've found. In recording the Let's Play, I found that it wasn't easy to just play for like half an hour. I ended up playing for like an hour and a half straight, and that was after playing for 40 minutes to check the game out initially. So, you know, it'll definitely keep your attention, in my experience. And I think one of the strengths of kind of the way the gameplay works is I've found that it is retro-inspired, but it's a little easier, I think, than most actual retro games, which I think is pretty nice. Again, I'm not going to really go into any of the story in this. If you want to see the story and all the dialogue, do check out the Let's Play. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy. So I found that like the best way to handle this is doing this kind of thing, which he also tries to do. But I think we are going to be just fine here. From a performance standpoint, I have had some slowdown, but not too much, and certainly not enough to really affect the gameplay, at least not in a huge way. So I would say that it's perfectly fine from that regard. Oh, and then the last thing, of course, to discuss is the music, which is all really, really great. All the music tracks that I've heard so far have been, just like everything else in the game. It's very retro-inspired, but also very, very polished, very, very well done. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually buying a meal ticket, which I can use to gain health. The other thing that we can do is talk to the other lady there and get things that will increase our magic, which for now isn't super important, but will be later. But yeah, this is the town gameplay. This is kind of what I was saying about kind of Zelda 2 inspired. It definitely feels a lot like Zelda 2. We've got some very weird characters in every town that we go to. But I think what I will do is maybe go try out a level that I've done in the Let's Play, but I haven't done on this save. So I doubt that there will be really any real differences going through it the first time and the second time, but I did want to show off an area that looked visually different from the first area. And as you can see, things are already harder, and there's certainly a very, very big difference in the way that things are presented from a visual standpoint between levels, which I think is a huge strength to the game. Just the fact that, as you move from level to level, you'll be experiencing very different environments. Different music, of course, but that's pretty much to be expected. I think typically you would expect kind of changing music level to level in a game like this. But yeah, there's been kind of 3 or 4 of these kind of like action platformers that are retro-inspired in the last few years. I can think of like Tiny Barbarian DX, Volgar the Viking, and I think that I would say this has probably been my favorite, because I feel like it kind of captures the feel of being retro-inspired, but it isn't as like difficult. And that's not to say that being difficult is bad, but I think it just gets the difficulty right. Like, the controls are nailed, the gameplay is fun, it looks great, sounds great, and the difficulty is nailed. It's not too easy, not too hard. And I think that is a really important point, because like Volgar I found way too hard, Tiny Barbarian I found hard kind of for the wrong reasons, but this manages to be retro-inspired, to play like a modern game, which is really important because it fixes a lot of the kind of control issues that are inherent in games like these, at least when you play older versions of them, but manages to stay fresh and feel like a new idea rather than just kind of mimicking something that's already existed. And I think that is such a strong kind of aspect to the game, just the fact that it feels fresh, even though it is definitely trying to be super inspired by retro games. And I think that is probably the biggest selling point in my mind. Yeah, this section is pretty difficult, by the way. Alright, I'm just trying not to die here if possible. Yeah, I probably honestly don't have too much more to say. I know that's kind of not a lot, but I've kind of said my piece on it. I think we'll maybe finish out this level, and that'll be all for this video. But like I said, I would definitely encourage you to check out the Let's Play if you want to see more of this and see more of my take on the story aspects. I think the story is good, by the way. I know I didn't really get to mention it at all, but I didn't really want to spoil anything with this particular video. Just wanted this to be my impressions on everything, and I think that everything is going very well. It's been a game that I've been following for quite a while, so it is really nice to see that it is released and is as good as I hoped it would be. Yeah, I honestly can't think of anything that I dislike in the game. Alright, yeah, we do get some, as I said, like some trickier secrets. Okay, this one is particularly difficult, as it's just hard to see your character, which is the point, It definitely, I guess, like, the way difficulty is handled in the game reminds me of something like Super Meat Boy. A lot of the really difficult stuff is optional, which I think is a pretty strong quality to the game. Again, you know, I keep saying like strong quality, but it's because everything is in this game is pretty much of like very, very good quality, and you know, everything is kind of a good aspect of this game because it's just an all-around good game, and that's not really an exaggeration at all. I'd say that this is probably one of my favorite games to come out in a while, I would say. And I would definitely say it's probably one of the best games to kind of do the retro thing and do it really, really well. Because it's been wrong, you know, it's been done wrong a lot, and I think, you know, the solution is not just keep playing the older retro games. I think we definitely need to see games like Shovel Knight come out that bring back that retro feel but do it in a modern way. And that, I think, is really kind of the goal of Shovel Knight, and I would definitely say that the goal is achieved. So, well, I think we're probably going to call it early because I don't quite remember how much longer this level goes on, but you know, rest assured I can easily recommend this for anyone who's a fan of action platformers and anyone who wants a good retro-inspired game. So like I said, yeah, I will definitely have the link to the Steam page in the description, and in addition to that, of course, I will be doing a Let's Play of this that will also start today, so if you would like to see more of the game, if you would like to see more of my thoughts on the game, then I would highly recommend checking that out. But I think with that kind of wraps up my thoughts on the game. So, as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you would like to comment about. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos every single day. And if you liked my look at Shovel Knight, then please do consider clicking the like button. But with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.